Dear Bridget, I just finished reading the back guide for the second time. I know that you like Greek history, so I really think you would enjoy this play. It is also deeply informed by Greek mythology, and I know that interests you as well. I'm writing it to you because, like the two main characters in the play, Dionysus and Pentheus, we are cousins. Luckily, as you see, we don't have the same relationship they do. They are the sons of the sisters Semele and Agave, just like my mother and your mother are sisters. However, Dionysus is also the son of Zeus, which means he is part god. Dionysus is the god of wine, intoxication, and the ritual of hunting animals. He is the leader of the Bacchae, which is a mob of mainly women who climb up Mount Syntheiron to drink and dance. Although he is sometimes represented as a drunken, happy god, he is also capable of transforming into a vengeful one. In the play, Dionysus returns to Thebes to seek revenge on Pentheus, his family, and the city himself. Aristotle's definition of a tragedy is the limitation of an action that is serious and also having magnitude. Also, with incidents arousing pity, fear, wherewith to accomplish a catharsis of these emotions. I would consider the Bacchae as an example of a tragedy because of the result of Pentheus' death by his own mother. Agave's participation in the mob causes her to help shake Pentheus down from the tree he was hiding in and then tear his body apart until his death. Because she is possessed by Dionysus, she carries her son's head to the palace like a trophy and believes it is the head of a lion. It is not until Agave's father, Cadmus, who brings his daughter back to reality and makes her realize what she is actually holding. When she realizes this, after Cadmus asks her what she sees, she says, "What I see is grief, deep grief and misery for me." Cadmus understands that his grandson Pentheus had to pay for the sins of the whole family for denying Dionysus as a baby. Agave is then banished from Thebes, and Cadmus and his wife turn into serpents and invade Greek lands. During the first reading of this play, I learned about the other son of Zeus, Apollo. Apollo is a god of reason and rationality and stands for Pentheus. The Apollonian way of thinking is very rational and logical. On the other hand, his other son, Dionysus, is the god of chaos and irrationality. The Dionysian way of thinking is chaotic and bases thinking off emotion and instincts. However, it seems like they switch roles a little bit by the end of the play, which ends up leading to Pentheus' death by his own mother. Like Dionysus, Pentheus, the king of Thebes, is a royal figure. At first glance, however, this is where the comparison ends. Unlike Dionysus, Pentheus is the very embodiment of patriarchal authority and order. Although he is still young and naive sometimes, he takes his job very seriously as king. He takes pride in it and holds rationality to be the highest value. His commitment is to an earthly realm, not the divine realm, and consequently he has banned the worship of the god Dionysus in the city of Thebes. A deeper look at Pentheus, though, reveals another similarity between the ruler of Thebes and the god of wine. Both cousins are desirous of power and both are capable of murderous anger. The messenger conveys this theory of Pentheus when he confesses, "You have a temper, Lord. I'm afraid of you, of your royal rage." Dionysus discovers himself as a stranger when he comes to Thebes, where Cadmus has given the role of king to Pentheus. Even before Dionysus reveals his true identity, Pentheus is very angry with the stranger for the chaos he has brought to his city and tells the guards to lock him up. He pays no attention to Dionysus' mysterious claim that says, "The god will free me when I want him to," because he does not recognize Dionysus is that god himself. Pentheus' blindness to the god among them will lead to his doom. Dionysus and Pentheus don't get along for many reasons. Because Semele, Dionysus' mother, had an affair with Zeus, the family has always resented this divine relative. And since Hera, Zeus' wife, tricked Semele into seeing Zeus' natural form, which is a lightning bolt, this killed her and nearly the baby she was carrying, Dionysus. He was only able to survive because Zeus attached him to his thigh, where he was able to continue growing. This family dynamic is why Dionysus has to wear a disguise when returning to Thebes and Pentheus. After allowing himself to be locked up by arrogant Pentheus, Dionysus causes an earthquake that leads to the collapse of the palace, Pentheus' center of power, and of course, also to his freedom. Unable to deny Dionysus' powers any longer, Pentheus soon falls under his spell. In their second encounter, Dionysus emasculates Pentheus by convincing Pentheus to dress as a woman and come to the mountain to spy on the Bacchants. Here, Dionysus plays on Pentheus's repressed erotic desires to see women and perhaps to become one. It is not only Pentheus who appears differently in this scene. Dionysus, too, is strangely transformed. Dionysus, the irrational god, is obviously very carefully executing a plan to destroy Pentheus. The apparent reversal of these two figures is Pentheus is secretly getting excited about dressing as a woman, and Dionysus exercising a rational, vengeful plan that will be followed by the utter reversal of Pentheus's fate. Soon he will fall under his position as ruler and hunter of the god to hunted animals. First, however, Pentheus must recognize his error. When Dionysus tempts Pentheus to the slopes of Mount Cyntheiron and his death, he plays on the language of sight, suggesting that seeing is the key to Pentheus's understanding. If you still want to come see what you shouldn't see, if you desire what shouldn't be desired, come out. Pentheus, come out here. Let me see you. Maiden, Bacchant woman, show us your long dress. Show us how you'll scalp your mother and her troop. Dionysus almost makes Pentheus think that it is his idea to go to the mountain and see what is happening, but it is really Dionysus's plan all along. Pentheus ceases behaving like a brutal, impatient king and starts to act like the teenage boy he is. His longing to see the woman's revelry in the mountain is his undoing, but the revelation of Pentheus's immaturity condemns Bacchus more than it does Pentheus. The god is using a teenage boy's longings against him. This is what ultimately leads to Pentheus's death when he goes to the mountain to see the woman. I am glad we both have different ways of thinking but are not complete opposites like Dionysus and Pentheus, Bridget. There will always be family drama, but I hope it never gets as bad as theirs. Love, Abby.